too bad. Now, how we doing, Churchill?
That is what we like to hear. All right, so students of Churchill, who can tell me why we're here today? MLK? Yeah? Exactly. Today we are here to commemorate the life of Martin Luther King Jr.
Martin Luther King was a man who spent his life advocating for civil rights in America. He's a man who's so driven to end illegal segregation that he stood up, took charge, and led the civil rights movement.
This man changed the fate of the United States. He led millions of Americans. Now, I'm not saying hundreds, we're hundreds. I'm saying millions of Americans on the pursuit of equality and justice in this country.
Martin Luther King Jr. showed not only America, but the whole world that there are dreamers who will work towards fulfilling their dreams in the fight for what is right. And from the mid-1950s until the day he was assassinated, he fought for not only equality, but peace too.
Now it's gonna get real. We're gonna tell you some truth. I'm gonna welcome up the dream team, Churchill BSU. Come on, guys. Let's go. What's going on, guys? Oh, here's one. Two.
Okay, everybody, welcome to BSU. Today we're going to be learning about the great African-American man named Martin Luther King. Whoa! What are you doing here? Well, I didn't know you were welcome. Did you plan this?
I brought him.
Well, see here, Jonah can join because anybody of any race can join BSU because BSU is all about learning the black culture and the black experience. And you see, prejudice is all about people looking from the outside in and the inside out. And that's what BSU is all about.
Right. Well, Jonah, welcome to BSU.
This one is no, wait till they go up and say what they need to say. They'll cue you, and I'll just check with them.
Wow. Dang, Jonah, that was great what you said about BSU.
Man, I know.
So, who we got up next?
Dude, we got GSA.
Alright, what are they doing?
They're gonna do a sick poem. So everybody give it up for GSA.
Yeah.
Hello everyone, we're GSA. My name is Austin.
And my name is Grace.
And my name is Sam. We are the CHS Gender and Sexuality Alliance. As you all know, Martin Luther King Jr. and the Civil Rights Movement changed the world for people of color.
There is another movement changing the world today, and that is the LGBTQ movement. It hopes to promote equality, diversity, tolerance, and of course, peace. Today, we will not be presenting a poem, but actually presenting a video presentation published last year on YouTube. It highlights the journey of LGBT people in America. Hit it.
kid you not, as soon as I turned on the camera, my heart just like immediately started beating really hard. But I'm going to deal with it because I have something to tell you guys. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. I just felt like I couldn't.
I felt like it was my fault.
I needed to learn to love myself before I could expect other people to love me for that.
Why am I ashamed of who I am?
I'm not passing as anything I'm being. I'm about to tell my mom.
Kind of like freaking out right now. We just want to be like, call it. And tell it.
Because I'm tired of hiding. And I'm tired of lying by omission.
Yeah, I'm gay.
It feels so good to say.
You still love me?
Nothing would stop me from loving you, my dear. I love you, kid. I felt nothing but support from the people around me.
Why should they be denied the right to share their life together?
You are voting for the first time in the history of our state to codify discrimination into our Constitution.
I hope you will stand on the right side of history.
My son is not an issue. He's a person just like you.
It is time. It is time to give our loving gay and lesbian couples the right to a marriage license.
Ayes 33, nays 29.
Today I finally get to look at the man that I love and finally say, will you please marry me?
Every single American deserves to be treated equally in the eyes of the law and in the eyes of our society.
You promise to be a respectful and loving companion.
I do. I do. I do.
I do.
You may now kiss the bride.
The groomsmen kiss.
Testing? Okay, it works. As of June 26, 2015, same-sex marriage is legal in all 50 states. But LGBT plus people still have a ways to go before true equality becomes reality. If you are interested in talking about topics related to LGBT plus issues, not necessarily issues, but many things around the spectrum, GSA meets Monday and Tuesday in room F49 during lunch. We accept all genders and sexualities. Thank you.
Guess I'll have 2 mics. Now, can we give another round of applause for that video, please? Now I'd like to welcome to the stage the Art Club.
Okay, hi guys. I'm Sophie. This is Sam, and I'm Siri. Yeah, she did say her name. Siri painted this for MLK Day, and she has a few words to say about it.
Yeah, I did this painting with the intention to bring peace and unity to Churchill, and it will be hung up in the cafeteria if you guys can look at it.
The last 2, I think, or maybe 3 years, we've always been asked to do a mural for MLK Day, and we've always made something awesome. Other things Art Club does around the school is, I don't know if you guys go into the science hall very much, but there's a mural in there that's like half done, and it's right by Mrs. Cruz's room. And like starting in February, we're gonna start putting animals on it, which is super exciting. And then like last month or so, we had an art gallery where we were selling art made by Art Club's members, which was super awesome, and we made some money from that. So, yeah, I think that's all I have to say. everybody. So what do you guys think of that piece of art? I thought it was pretty amazing myself. But next up from the amazing class taught by Leah Dunbar, we have a group of students from Courageous Conversations. Let's give them a hand.
On the question of race, they asked me to write down my race, and I think very seriously and consider writing down the truth and have my answers read like this.
I have a great mother. She is very loving and has taught me to love others inside this body.
I have nobody, for nobody is entitled to me. Revelation came through an emotional riot, an open heart with a big fence around it, inside this body.
Inside this body, but they asked me to write down my race, and I think very seriously, and consider writing down the truth, and have my answer read like this.
I have a caring mom who loves me and makes me who I am today inside this body.
I have a picture of a father I never knew, holding a child who is with me, and a name that he has that I don't even know. But none of that matters to me as long as I have my family inside this body.
I have an annual pilgrimage to Earth's place of most beauty. In order to rest and reflect on life. Among trees, I have discovered Earth's heartbeat inside this body.
If they still ask me to write down my race, and I think very seriously, and consider writing down the truth and have my answer read.
I would believe that this world needs to change to grow, because we're stuck in a never-ending circle of the past, making every day like it's your last inside this body.
I have the energy of the universe flowing through my veins, bringing me closer to the earth and her children. I stand on mountaintops and sing. I climb trees to feel free. I run into the ocean head on just to feel her heartbeat inside this body. But I stop and simply write down, white.
African American.
White.
White. Latino.
White.
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 Japanese.
Human.
Next we've got FSU.
Who's Adam Sue?
No man, Asian Pacific Islander Student Union, FSU.
Oh, alright. Give it up for FSU, everybody.
So we're part of APISU, and today we're going to show a video of peace relations between North and South Korea.
가치가 있어요. 입을만 하고 모르고 귀만 내는 것들은 그냥 소용없는 나라에서는 뒤에서는 안 좋게 보고 그래서 제 나름대로 그런 걸 다 초월해가지고 그래서 오빠는 만나야 돼. 죽기 전에 만나야지. 이번 기회 아니면 만날 수가 없잖아.
That video was just a representation of peace in our community.
Thank you guys. Man, that was impressive. Nice video. Alright, so I read a poem yesterday. It was phenomenal. And today you're gonna hear it straight from the creator, straight from the writer. It's gonna knock your socks off. So everybody give it up for LSU.
To our racist systems, smile, smiles, full of tears and sadness. Smile, smiles, while my chest hurts because it wants to burst. Control, don't say. Be kind, be gentle, don't make them afraid. Hurt real or not real, skin that I see, skin that can't breathe. I can't breathe, and my tears want to bust out in despair. I can't breathe, and my heart wants to cry out like thunder. Let me be, let me go, and you are in control. Be kind, be nice, don't make them afraid. I comply, I surrender. I want to grieve, I want to scream. How is it you change duels? The perfect shape, shifter that promotes injustice and hate. We come with love, we trust, again and again and again. And you realign and you change and you collaborate to meet your needs. To meet your needs of status quo. Keep all the same, keep all comfortable and nice. Doing the same, that same, this same. You forget history, you accommodate history. You oppress, you forget, you oppress, you forget. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. No time has passed, all is the same. Then I realize I am not all. I am not there, so who am I? So who am I? Nothing. I am nothing to you, the proclaimer and guardian of status quo. Smile, smiles, full of tears and sadness. Smile, smiles, while my chest hurts because it wants to burst. With the truth, control those who say, be kind, be gentle, don't make them afraid. While I say, forget that, and I tell you to be afraid. Hurt rational or irrational, skin that I see, skin that can't breathe. While I say, forget that. And I am and I will be me because you don't define me. I can't breathe, and I am crying. I am crying with the pain, the sorrow, the strength, the wisdom of so many. My ancestors, my grandmothers, they are here with me. With me, with us, with you. Can't you understand how much it hurts? It hurts, and you can't see. You can't see. Why can't you see? Why can't you see me? In my skin, in my hair, in my beauty. Please, see me, help me, be me. By Carmen Exurbina. Thank you.
I'm coming, sorry. Hey. That takes a lot of courage to get up there and read a poem like that. And it has a lot of meaning in it. And thank you. I appreciate that. We have a keynote speaker. Some of you may know him. I've known this man for about 10 years, and he means a lot to me. He's been a big part of my life growing up. So please welcome Mr. Johnny Lake.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much. They told me I had 5 minutes, which for a doctor, that's not much time. I made a PowerPoint for you guys. I think I'll probably leave it with Kevin because I got some research in there about these conditions Martin Luther King came along when things were pretty stark naked. In fact, I was a little boy, and I saw signs in businesses that said white only, and they didn't mean your clothes. This was the time when Dr. King lived, and it wasn't just stores. Schools were the same way. Businesses were the same way. Our government was the same way. And we had been this way for how long? Just a few years? Or for our entire history? This society had been segregated, divided. Black people over here, white people over here, not much in between. And Dr. King came along and he says, well, I want to stand up for black people, right? Is that what he said? I'm going to stand up for black people. If you treat black people right, America will be a great place. Is that what he said? No. Did he say, well, treat all the people of color right and America will be a great place? Is that what he said? Who did he say treat right? Everybody. And you see from that vision in the 60s, when we started talking about equal rights, we have moved to talking about equal rights for everybody. And we are creating that society that our founding fathers said was supposed to be for everyone. But Dr. King should represent for every one of us a model for what we have to do to change things in this society. He went to jail. How many people know that? Dr. King went to jail, received death threats on a regular basis. How many people knew that? He had a wife and children. How would you feel if you left your house and somebody told you, I'm going to bomb your house, kill your wife, and kill your children? Would you feel really encouraged to go out to change the world? But this man left his wife and children at risk to go out to try to change the world to make it better for everybody. Dr. King got kicked out of the Ministerial Association. How many people know that? He got kicked out of the Ministerial Association. They said, you shouldn't be out in the street marching, you should be doing your work in the pulpit. And Dr. King's own father even told him the same thing. Do you think Dr. King thought he was going to get a holiday? That years later we were going to be sitting here celebrating his life? No. But we as a society have to be grateful for an American like Dr. King. Because he created this conversation and we have inherited it. So we have a perfect society today, right? Or do we have work to do as well? How many people in here like Dr. King? I do this with the little kids, like kindergarten, first grade, second grade. I say, are you like Dr. King? They say, no, but you are. What are they talking about? What are the little guys talking about? No, but you are. You're like Dr. King because of what? Can nobody say it? I know I was black when I got here. You're not going to surprise me like And so sometimes we think that only people of color should be standing up for these kinds of issues. But Dr. King even knew better back in those days. Did he just stand up with black people? The little kids also don't know this. How many people know that white people died in the civil rights movement? And little guys are like, what? White people died in the civil rights movement. Why did they die? Why did white people die in the civil rights movement? Because they was fighting for the same thing Dr. King was fighting for. And it actually made it work. Because when we come together as communities, even though we have differences, when we come together to stand up for equal rights, who gets hurt? Nobody. If you stand up for your neighbor, you stand up for your neighbor. If everybody in this room stood up for each other, could somebody come in here and take somebody out and treat them really bad? Could they do this just with this small audience? And that's another half of school over there that you could call, right? You got friends? People got friends in the other half of your school? You can even call them. Could somebody come in here and treat somebody really lousy? If we simply stood up for each other. Here's this quote from Dr. King. The function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education. So when we come together in our school, I want you to think about what it means to truly be educated. We have public people making comments that all Mexicans are rapists. Is that correct? Should that be acceptable in American society? No. He says, women, you know, they all are crazy. Should that be acceptable? No. And so we have to develop a voice. You have to develop a voice. If you think of leadership, on the leadership hill, I'm going down the other side. I'm going to be retired soon. If you think of the leadership hill for you guys, where are you? You just coming up the side of the hill. Pretty soon you're going to be on top. Who's going to have the responsibility to help make change in this society? It's going to be you. So see this as your practice. See this as your beginning of your work. See what you do at church or high school as being part of your development as a responsible citizen in a free and democratic society. Should there be anyone at your school who gets treated less than others? Here's two things I want you to think about. If it happens to you, what's your responsibility? Speak up for yourself. If you see it happen to someone else, what's your responsibility? To speak up for them. Is that simple? I do this with kindergartners, first graders, second graders. I know you guys are high schoolers, so it may be too complex for you, and you might not get it. But flip back to when you were a little kid. When you saw something happen that was unfair, what was the first thing you said? That's not fair! That's not fair! I want you to keep that heart. There's a great Chinese philosopher that said there's a great person that never loses their child's heart. And that's that heart for fairness. Einstein, the great thinker, said, in the pursuit of truth and beauty, you are permitted to remain a child all of your days. In something that's significant as truth and beauty. So, I want to repeat it. Two things I want you to take away from this presentation. If someone is treating you unfairly, discriminating against you, being unfair or unkind to you, what should you do? Speak up. Only about 10 people in here can speak up for themselves. I'll ask you again. If something's happening to you that's wrong and unfair, what should you do? That's about 20 people. If something's happening to you that's unfair, what should you do? Speak up for yourself. If you see or hear something happen unfair to someone else, what should you do? Speak up for them. That will make your school a better community, and it will help make our society a better society. Thank you very much.
All right, let's give another hand for Dr. John Lincoln. May be sick of clapping, but let's give another hand to welcome up leadership.
Hello, Churchill High School. My name is Michael McGrew, and this is our leadership team.
My name is Luis Gonzalez, the SU president. And I'm Tim Carl Pouncy, the assembly manager. Wait, can I see how you guys are doing? Can you guys give me a little shout? Can I hear you guys? How are you guys feeling? A little louder, come on. A little more. That's all I hear.
So today we wanted to wonder if you guys really knew who Martin Luther King was. So we're going to ask you guys a couple trivia questions. So, true or false? Dr. King Jr. won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1958. Cheer true. False? Wow. Wow. All you guys who cheer true are wrong, and all you guys who cheer false are right. It was actually Martin Luther King won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964.
Alright, I got another one here for you. So, 250 people marched to the Lincoln Memorial in the name of equality. True or false? Anybody for true? Anybody for false? I don't know what you guys think. It's true.
Alright, I got two more for you. So, true or false? Dr. King's birth name was not Martin. True? False. Seems pretty false, actually. His true name was Michael Luther King. Alright, and the famous line in his speech, "I have a dream," was actually... Sorry. The famous line, "I have a dream," in his speech was not actually a part of the written speech. True or false? True. False. It's actually false. His advisor told him not to mention his dreams because he had done so in his previous speeches. The actual name of the speech was "The Bounced Check."
Alright, so everybody stand up. Everybody stand up. Hey, hit it right quick. Guess who we got up next?
I don't know, you tell me.
Nasu, it's gonna be inspirational.
Oh, I can't wait. Give it up for Nasu, everybody.
Hello, everybody. My name is Akila Hill. I am part of the Blackfoot, Cherokee, and Delaware tribe. I am the advisor of the Native American Student Union here at Churchill.
Hi, I'm India, and I am part of the Glamour tribe.
Hello, my name is Sharian. My affiliated tribe is Nen, which is Navajo. And I lead the Native American Student Union here at Churchill. Today, we are honoring Martin Luther King, and today's theme is about peace. I respect Martin Luther King and what he did for his people. Now, his work benefits every other minority in the U.S. to this day. I am very thankful for that. Hear me now, when I say what is peace, peace can be defined in many ways. But when you're a minority, peace isn't really a word. That word is pushed in so many directions. For example, we indigenous people are still fighting for peace through our lands, the pipelines, the coal mining, and oil being exploited. But are slowly killing our people and water to keep here for future generations. Hear me now. Our ancestors went through one of the worst periods of U.S. history, but kept strong through critical living conditions. Trickery with the U.S. government, for example, the many peace treaties that were violated, religious discrimination, and genocide. Hear me now. My indigenous peoples were almost extinguished. Since the first European contact, it was estimated that over 100 million Native American people died of illness and deliberate murder. And then it was estimated by the 20th century, there were only 250,000 Native Americans left. Hold on a second. There were only 250,000 Native Americans left. Our ancestors went through hell to keep us alive. They didn't suffer for us indigenous descendants to be forgotten. That is why our culture, pride, language, land, and our way of life is very important to us. Hear me now. I do too have a dream like Martin Luther King. I do too want to help my indigenous people find peace, peace of mind, and peace within their hearts. Again, we should all be thankful for the sacrifice that Martin Luther King has done for peace. And this generation should keep his dream alive. Yeah, thank you for your time. A local activist and a Churchill alumni.
Thank you very much. That was beautiful. Najane and Danae. My name is Naomi. I am Tlingit Kwagwanton from the Nobility House in Alaska. I am also Churchill alumni. Had it not been for the Churchill alternative program here, I wouldn't have been able to graduate on time and then also go on to college. I'm really thankful for the opportunities that the school has given me. I am the great-granddaughter of Naomi Kanosh, who is clan mother of the Kwagwanton and also co-founder of the Sitka tribe of Alaska, who she fought her whole life to preserve our language, our culture, our identity, and our ancestral lands. I am also the great-granddaughter of Louis Kanosh, who worked very hard to preserve our language and working with linguists to preserve our stories, our songs, and was also co-founder of the Alaska Native Brotherhood and Sisterhood, which is the oldest known indigenous civil rights persons program all over the world. I'm also the great-great-niece of Elizabeth Brodovich, who is also co-founder of the Alaska Native Brotherhood and Sisterhood, and who, had it not been for her eloquence and her bravery, the first anti-discrimination bill would not have passed in the U.S. The crown that I'm wearing represents
the Lakota Oyate Key Club at Oregon State Penitentiary. Lakota Oyate Key means meeting of the people. They are an indigenous group of men behind bars who are fighting to keep our cultural identity, but also have been setting national standards on how to work with indigenous prisoners. I know that it seems strange that I would represent people in prison, but in the United States, we're only 5% of the world population, yet we house 25% of the world's prison population. And when I went to school and I was getting my degree in criminal justice, I became very passionate about our prison system and the groups that were going into prison. People with developmental disabilities, people with mental health issues, and people and the disproportionate number of people of color behind bars, all of which I feel are a human rights issue. When my great aunt Elizabeth Perodovich wanted to buy a house in Alaska, or she wanted to rent a home, it was back in the 1940s, and she had made the phone call, she had written the letters, and the landlord said that she could rent this home, and she was very happy. She was going to move her family to a larger city and be able to have more opportunities for her family. When the landlord found out that she was Native, they denied her this home, because back then, we still weren't considered human. In this town, there were still signs that read, "No dogs and no Indians." Indigenous children were not allowed to attend the public schools, and the only way that they could receive an education was if their family sent them off to a boarding school. The boarding schools were not a place that you would want your children. The indigenous people still had to pay that school tax, even though their kids could not attend those schools. So they brought this bill up to the Supreme Court, and they said that this was wrong, this was discrimination. And there were white lawyers, clergymen, politicians, doctors, all saying that we were still not human and that we did not deserve those rights to be able to send our children to school, to be able to live where we wanted in the town that was originally ours. And it looked like the bill was going to be shot down. Elizabeth Perodovich, she got up, and with the best that she could muster, she said, "I would not have expected that I, who am barely out of savagery, would have to remind gentlemen with 5,000 years of recorded civilization behind them of our Bill of Rights. No law will eliminate crimes, but at least you as legislators can assert to the world that you recognize the evil of the present situation and speak your intent to help us overcome discrimination." The bill passed 11-5. Not only did she help put the first anti-discrimination bill on the books, she also won us a community. We've come a long way. This country really has come a long way. But there are still wounds that have not been healed. Back in the 1990s, there were 4 young men, they were teenagers, one of which was a valedictorian in his high school, were all convicted of a crime by sloppy police work and by the account of one white person. They spent 18 years in prison, and for those 18 years, they maintained that they were innocent of a murder on an Indigenous person. During their incarceration, another group came forward and claimed responsibility for this murder. And not only was it a murder, it was a hate crime. And even though these people were charged with this crime, these 4 young men remained in prison. And the only reason that they were released this last year was because they signed papers that they would not sue the state of Alaska. They were charged for a hate crime on their own people and served 18 years in prison. Having grown up in Eugene, often being the only person of color in my classrooms, in my area, we had hate crimes committed upon our family. Where nothing was done. Where people would shout racist taunts in front of our house, would throw rocks into our windows where my baby sisters were sitting, and nothing was done. I know that the laws have been they haven't always been there to protect us. The people who write the laws, the people who implement the laws, and the people who are expected to interpret those laws do not consistently protect us. Hundreds of years of slavery and genocide, our country, we're still healing from that. I absolutely believe that we can, with great love, with purpose, can heal. As Dr. Martin Luther King said in his letter from Birmingham jail, we know through painful experience that freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor. It must be demanded by the oppressed, and oppressed people cannot remain oppressed forever. Martin Luther King was one of my heroes growing up, and oftentimes when I felt alone, I would read through his letters, through his speeches, his quotes, and I didn't feel so alone. I'm really glad that this is happening, and this is a place where people of color can speak their truth, and where students of color can speak their truth. I want to thank Churchill High School for inviting me to come and talk about Indigenous civil rights and how our rights have also come along with the civil rights of Black people in this country. Thank you.
Thank you, Master. Okay. All right. So we got the man himself, Sergeant Stubbs, to give us a good talk today. So everybody give it up. Come on, give it up, Churchill. Okay. I know I'm old, but it's all good. Hey, I'm glad to be here today. I have a few minutes. I just wanted to get up here because the civil rights movement, I've always been always loved Dr. King and the civil rights movement, but he was a face, I only have a few minutes, but he was a face of a people who were tired of the way they were being treated and wanted something better. And instead of sitting on the sideline and looking and observing and hoping it would get better,
each of them got involved. And by them getting involved in their community, they changed the world. Churchill High School, you are a community of one. You must understand this. Dr. King said something so powerful, that we must learn to live together as brothers or we will perish as fools. I know everyone doesn't probably talk the same as you, look the same as you, act the same as you do. Isn't it funny how we live in a land of democracy, but we expect everyone to be the same? You'll get it later. Anyway, so then what we must do is learn how to live together. Learn how to stand up for one another as a community, because you are responsible for what your community looks like. Whatever happens here at this school, it's up to you. You're responsible. If you see drugs and things happening in your school, you're responsible. We must take a stand. And if you see bullying or people being mistreated, you're responsible. We have to stand together and be responsible for our school, because we are the Churchill community. We are brothers and sisters at the school together. You must care for one another, hold each other up, and acknowledge the difference. I don't want to be white. Not that I don't like white. I love my Caucasian brothers and sisters, but I love being black. I love being African American because I am unique in who I am. Yes, I am a police officer. I don't apologize for that, because I handle my job, I do my job with my heart. I want to see people change. If you heard anyone deal with me and then it was a positive experience, that's what encourages me, because I care about the community in which I serve. I care about the community in which I live. I care about the children that come up in the community. I don't want to see them destroy themselves. I want to see them rise up and be all that they have been called to be. You have a destiny. And the thing about it is, we cannot obtain our destiny if we don't have our brothers and sisters. A team cannot achieve success unless you have each other. It's not 5 fingers, baby. It's 1 fist. So I tell you, stand up. Stand up this year. Take on the face. If you want to take something from Dr. King, remembering the man is great, but remember what he did it for. He did it to make us powerful. And when we have a fist, you can throw one powerful blow to the world and leave your mark, and everyone will remember that you was on this world. Give it up, Churchill.
Assembly, and now you can go back to class. Thank you, Churchill.